found Reddit's most vile boyfriend. If you're new here, my name is Sarby. I've made over 160 reading Reddit videos for you guys that I record live with my audience so that you guys can join on Twitch and give your opinions while I'm reading and reacting. Today, we got a best of Redditor updates video for you guys, starting it off with my boyfriend of 3 years stealthily took my 11-year-old dog to a vet 80 kilometers away to be put to sleep. It was only luck I found out and got him back. Boyfriend doesn't know I have my dog back, but he comes back tomorrow night. Don't get me wrong, guys, this was a crazy story, but there were even more insane stories in this video, such as, I believe my brother has been replaced. And the story that this video ends on, my brother does some really creepy stuff and I'm done with him. As always, guys, juicy stories here. You already know the drill. Let's lock in here and read some Reddit. I just found out that my best friend has been telling all of our friends that my boyfriend tried to cheat on me with her. Originally posted to r/2hottakes on July 17th, 2024. Ellen, 22 female, and I, 21 female, met through an internship 3 years ago and instantly became best friends. About a year ago, I started crushing on George, 24 male, who interns at the same company, but in a different department as us. Ellen and another one of our coworkers set us up last fall and we really hit it off. We've fallen in love and we often talk about a future together. This is where things get messy. From early in our relationship, pretty much as soon as we went from just dating to being official, Ellen has been colder to me. She never made it a secret that she doesn't particularly like George, though she's never said anything direct about it. The only issue she ever raised was when we first got together and he got really sick. I was studying for the MCAT at the time, and I was only about a month out from my main test day when he had a pretty bad flare-up of a chronic illness. Because he knew that Ellen and I were so close, he called her to ask her if she thought he should tell me he was sick or if it would be better to keep it from me so he didn't take me away from my studies. All right, we love a considerate man. Ellen didn't like this at all. She told me she thought it was incredibly inappropriate that he tried to contact her like that, and he shouldn't have called her about something so personal. I thought her reaction was a little over the top, but I talked to George about it and he apologized to her and never called her again, but she didn't let it go. It's a weird hill to die on. I don't think that is completely uncalled for. If George has a pre-existing relationship with your friend Ellen and he wants to ask her advice because as one of her good friends, you should be able to tell him what he should do in a circumstance that he doesn't know how to act because he's brand new. Like, I don't understand what's so inappropriate about that. Am I tripping, chat? I don't think that's inappropriate. I feel like there's something else going on with Ellen. Either she likes George and is extremely jealous, or Ellen might just be preying on OP's downfall. A few weeks later at a party, she made a comment about how I was always choosing George over my friends. My roommate was going to be out of town the next week, so she said she should say her goodbyes, since I would probably just spend the whole week at home with George. She tried to play it off as a joke, but I was really surprised she felt that way. I never wanted to be the kind of girl who turns her back on her friends when she gets into a relationship, and I'd been trying really hard to balance my time with my boyfriend and with my friends. But it seemed she felt neglected, so I started putting more effort into our friendship. Over the next few weeks, I tried to make plans with her at least 5 or 6 times. Every time she came up with some excuse not to see me, even once canceling at the last minute and citing a meeting she forgot about at 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning. OP's too good of a person because one of my friends starts talking shit about my relationship like that and acting weird. We're just not gonna be friends anymore. That might be such an asshole thing for me to say, but like there are some friends who being friends with them is exhausting, draining, and 100% not worth it. Like this is a call for anybody listening to really evaluate the friendships that you have and assess whether or not they are helping your lives or hurting, because some of my friends, especially at the age that I'm at, have friendship relationships with people that they feel like obligated to, that I just look at and I'm like, bro, that person makes your life worse. Why do you even have them in your life? And Ellen is 100% one of those people. Why would you go out of your way to spend time with somebody who only has negative things to say about you and your relationship? Which, I mean, so far we don't have a good reason for her to be talking so negatively about it. I don't know, bitch doesn't seem worth it to me, but I was hurt. I knew our friendship was dying, and every time I tried to revive it, she rejected me. Finally, I decided the ball was in her court. If she wanted to be friends, I was open to it, but I was sick of being rejected and she would have to be the one to reach out to me. She never did. Meanwhile, things were deteriorating at work. We had been assigned to the same project for the year, which required working very closely together. As our friendship fell apart, she started ignoring me at work, being rude and short, and making my share of our tasks very difficult for me. I felt like she was constantly breathing down my neck and waiting to catch me in a mistake. I figured she was gossiping about me behind my back, but at this point, I was so exhausted from dealing with her that I couldn't be bothered about it. She would say whatever she wanted to say, and I would just be nice and patient with her and count down the days until our internship ended. Until today, I had lunch with one of our other coworkers and my good friend Kay, 22 male, and he told me everything. Apparently, Ellen has been telling all of our coworkers and friends that George has been trying to cheat on me with her, telling them that he calls her in the middle of the night, sends her inappropriate texts, and when I hosted a party after I wrote the MCAT, he spent the whole night eyeing her. I know that none of this is true. I love George, and I know that he loves me. And even as Kay was telling me all of this, I knew that Ellen was lying. It seemed that Kay didn't believe it either. He was just telling me what he had heard. But the thought that she's going around accusing George of infidelity makes me sick. I went straight to George's house and told him everything. I told him I didn't think for even a second that it was true, and the real betrayal is how Ellen made all of this up and spread it around. I was crushed to know that not only did Ellen say all of this, but she'd been saying it to all of my friends for months, and not one of them came to me about it. George helped me get past the hurt stage, and now all I feel is rage. Tomorrow, I'm going to call my supervisor and ask if I can work from home until the end of my contract so that I never have to see Ellen's face again. I feel so betrayed, and I just hate her so much right now. Am I overreacting? Should I be taking the high road and just keep working with Ellen as if I didn't know? I feel betrayed by my other friends too, because Kay thinks they all know what she was saying and not one of them told me. Damn. Should I cut them off the same way I planned to cut Ellen off? First off, Kay's a fucking real one. I mean, girl, I don't understand why you're taking a passive route here. Like, you need to go into HR and tell them that Ellen is spreading rumors about not only you as a coworker, but also George as a coworker. Like, that's just unacceptable. That should not happen in any workspace. Instead of ruining your chances of, number one, maybe getting a full-time job offer from this company, but B, just your general relationship at the office if you're asking to work from home, that's, I'm guessing, maybe not a good look based off of, like, usually those companies that want you coming in every day don't like it when you try to work from home. So, like, yeah, I think, no, you're not overreacting. If anything, I think you're underreacting. You should be going scorched earth right now. Operation Ruin Ellen's Life should be a go, and you should be going full steam ahead. Have George come in and say their piece. Have Kay come in and say their piece. I mean, fuck your other coworkers, but maybe try to work with them and have them come in to say their piece as well. That's what I would be doing, because fuck Ellen, and by God, should Ellen be put in a situation where she should be the one getting fired. I think she would get let go from the internship if she went to HR. Here's the thing. If she did, I feel like she has a case. I think Ellen has a way better chance of getting fired. I guess unless they're not supposed to be dating coworkers, but I'm assuming that that's okay. Is that still a thing, y'all? Like, to me, that maybe makes sense in, like, I don't know, law enforcement or something where emotions can be very detrimental in certain situations. But like, if y'all work in like Target corporate and these motherfuckers are like, you can't date, I would just tell them to suck my cock. That's insane. Cut them all off. Yeah, I agree. All those friends suck. I feel like she has to go to HR. Like, she's literally being defamed right now and slandered. Like, in theory, OP could sue Ellen if she's in the US, because she's literally being defamed and slandered behind her back. We got a couple of relevant comments here. Have you given any thought that what she was saying was true? What did the boyfriend say about it all? Offered to show texts, etc. Obviously playing devil's advocate here, and either way, a real friend would tell you directly about your man acting out, not gossiping. So no judgment on dropping her ass. OP replied, I really don't think it could be true. George has offered a number of times to let me go through his phone, which I've declined because I really do trust him, and we both agree that the accusations are absurd. He's never been anything but completely honest with me. And he's been saying for weeks that I should drop Ellen because he doesn't like the way she's been treating me. I don't want to contact her about it right now because honestly, I'm just so angry. And like you said, if there was any truth to it, and if she was ever my friend at all, she should have come to me about it directly. I also don't think Kay would lie about something like this. He's not the kind of person to make up rumors, and there's no way he would have known that George called Ellen if she hadn't told him. Albeit, a twisted version. Yeah, no, I think George hasn't done anything to deserve not getting the benefit of the doubt here, and Ellen has actively done things to not deserve the benefit of the doubt in a situation like this. I really do hope she goes to HR though, because like Ellen shouldn't win in this situation. Update July 8th, 2025, 1 year later. Oh my God. Update time. 1 year later, I can't believe that I'm still learning more about all the ways that Ellen tried to ruin my life. I'll start with the good news first. Our internship ended without much fanfare. I didn't, as many comments suggested, contact HR or confront Ellen. Wait, so people were telling her not to confront HR? So the top comment on this is telling her to go to HR, but then the reply is saying that George should really be the one to go to HR because he's the one that she's really defaming here, which actually kind of does make sense. Ooh, someone suggested, does Ellen have feelings for you? That's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that one. Okay, it does look like the comments are telling her to go to HR, but maybe I jumped the gun a little bit. I did contact our direct supervisor and told him that our personal relationship had deteriorated and that it had caused some hostility on her part at work, giving specific examples of issues in the workplace without getting into the weeds of the personal pettiness that was going on. He was incredibly understanding and accommodating. I worked from home the rest of the summer, received a glowing recommendation from him, and got hired at our company in my top choice department, fresh out of my internship, while I finished my degree and applied for medical school. I've been accepted to the top school in my country, and George and I plan on getting married once I finish my studies. Our relationship is stronger than ever. Ellen moved abroad, but stayed very well connected to the friend group that we had formed through the internship. After what happened last year, I slowly began to distance myself from that group, and as I did, I realized that I had outgrown a lot of them anyways. Once I began to see the cracks in the friendships I used to surround myself with, I couldn't unsee all the ways they could be unkind, immature, and toxic to themselves and to one another. I held on to the few people that I knew had my back and came out of the internship with a handful of good, close friends, rather than a big circle of people with shady tendencies. One good friend from the internship, Alice, 22 female, had been close with Ellen about a year ago and has since told me a lot more of the things Ellen said behind my back, partially corroborating Kay's story from the last year and adding details to some of the craziest parts. Apparently, to give herself more credibility, Ellen had been telling people that she'd been in touch with my roommate and friend of 11 years, Anna, 22 female. Ellen said that Anna also didn't like George and that Anna told her I spent way too much time with him, was neglecting all my friends, that he basically lives at our apartment, and that I always do this when I get into a relationship. She also told people that Anna thinks George is faking his chronic illness and that I've been using it as an excuse to blow off my friends. Once when George was at our apartment and had a flare-up, I'd had to cancel my plans to stay with him, afraid that he might need me to take him to the hospital. Ellen told everyone that Anna said he didn't seem sick and that I'd only canceled because I felt like staying home and hanging out with him. Bro, what is this like Mean Girls high school shit, dog? Y'all are 22 and 21. I guess y'all are still kind of young and immature, but like, I don't know. When I was college age, I didn't give a fuck about drama or gossiping about anybody else. I just wanted to get drunk with my friends. Like, come on, Ellen, let's not be a boner. When Alice told me all of this, I immediately confronted Anna and told her everything. Although Anna and Ellen had been in touch on and off over the past few years, in parentheses, I'd previously introduced them to one another and they had some mutual interests that they'd occasionally text about. Anna assured me that she said none of the things Ellen accused her of and even combed back through all of her messages to see if there was anything she'd said that might have implied anything like that. In going through Anna's messages with Ellen, we noticed a pattern. It seemed that anytime I told Ellen I wasn't available, she texted Anna to ask if I was with George. This went back to almost the beginning of my relationship with him. Okay, bro, that comment talking about how Ellen might be into OP, I feel like that might be real high key. At no point should you be this obsessed with somebody. Like romantically, I could maybe understand, but even that I think is unhealthy. As a friend, weird. This has to be some sort of I want to be dating OP type beat. This whole paragraph's in parentheses. For those running to the comments to ask why Anna didn't tell me this sooner. It didn't strike Anna as bizarre until we looked through the messages after hearing the accusations. I have a bad habit of letting my phone die, so sometimes if someone really needs to get in touch with me, they'll contact Anna or George. So in itself, Ellen texting her to ask where I was wasn't out of the ordinary. Ellen texting her to see if I was specifically with George, combined with what Ellen was claiming Anna told her, is the strange part. Coming out the other side of all of this, I've been trying really hard to reflect and learn from the situation. Was I a perfect friend to Ellen? Definitely not. I think there were certainly times at the beginning when I was first dating George and studying for the MCAT that I was distant with her. Maybe I should have tried harder to patch up our friendship in those early days by confronting her directly, or maybe I should have been more in tune to how she was feeling and addressed it sooner. Despite everything, I do miss her a lot, and I wish things had turned out differently. Okay, but here's the thing, y'all, is you can always give people, friends, whatever, more attention, but like a good friend isn't going to be an annoying asshole about it. Like a good friend, especially when you're in your early 20s, understands like we're becoming adults. We have jobs, we have school, we have relationships. You cannot be the center of Ellen's universe, and she has no right to demand that. So like, yeah, sure, maybe you could have done more, but that doesn't mean that A, she was entitled to it, and B, I don't think it justifies any of the shitty stuff that she was doing. Nor do I think that if you had done all that stuff, it would have prevented it. I think she would have been a fucking mean girl straight out of a high school movie, regardless if you had given her attention or not. But I don't think she was fair to me either. If I had withdrawn a little bit into my relationship in its early stages, she should have given me some grace and confronted me directly when she had a problem rather than going behind my back. She absolutely should have not tried to drag my name through the mud, made things difficult at work, or, worst of all, tried to destroy George's and Anna's reputations and relationships. I recently heard that Ellen is moving back to the city and tried to get a job at the company where we interned, but she was rejected by every department she applied to. Am I a bad person for feeling a little vindicated? No, and I would venture to guess that your complaint was probably not the only complaint that she got if she's getting rejected that hardcore. Or maybe her work just sucked. Thanks everyone for your comments last year. I really needed that support, but now I'm just looking for any lessons to be learned. Could I have done anything differently? What can I take away from this to try and be a better friend in the future? I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm a bad friend, but I just truly think real friends will understand that you got other shit going on. The ongoing joke with me and my friends is like, I sometimes just don't respond to text messages. I get a ton of messages every day. With everything that I do, I'm always on my phone unless it's like pertinent or important to what we're doing or something that we need to plan. Like I will sometimes just let it fall down the line, and like my friends will joke about it, but none of them take it personally. They're like, oh yeah, we know you're busy, you got shit to do. And they do it to me too, bro. My two best friends in the world, we probably talk 2 or 3 times a month. They will be standing next to me when I get married. We barely talk because we all have lives, we're all doing things. Like I just think it's like really ridiculous to think that you're entitled to someone's time more than they can offer to you. And if it's not a time that you think is adequate, go find somebody who's going to give you that time. Like, I don't know. For me, my advice to OP is just like find somebody who's not so demanding of your time. Find somebody who wants to hang out like once a week, and that's good for them and that's good for you. And you can spend the rest of your time hanging out with George and focusing on your career, which by the way, if nobody was picking it up, she's trying to become a doctor, which isn't easy. It's very time consuming. Like the fact that Ellen was like, oh, you spend too much time, you don't hang out with me enough. Like, yeah, no shit. She has a brand new boyfriend and she's trying to become a doctor. Of course she's not going to spend that much time with you. Are we fucking stupid? Some people are just more clingy too. Some people like that shit. Honestly, y'all, the only person I think I could handle being like super clingy is Kathy and a girl that I'm dating. Like Kathy just loves being able to speak to her kids, and it's something that at first used to piss me the fuck off when I was in college. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of understood like my mom very much prides herself on like raising great kids, and it's hard for her that we all are off doing our own thing and not like there to talk to her all the time. So when she acts clingy, I kind of just have to take a deep breath and be like, you know what? Like she raised me. I'm in the position that I'm in because of Kathy. Like I can fucking deal with that. And then yeah, I think when I'm with somebody and I really care about them, I don't care how clingy they are. I'm slightly clingy when I'm dating someone, but friends, no way. That's how I feel too, you know? And I feel like in a relationship, duh, you're gonna be clingy, bro. Especially at the beginning. If you're not at least like somewhat on top and like really interested in talking and spending time with the person, like that's a normal reaction. My boyfriend of 3 years stealthily took my 11-year-old dog to a vet 80 kilometers away to be put to sleep. It was only luck I found out and got him back. Boyfriend doesn't know I have my dog back, but he comes back tomorrow night. Original post, November 26th, 2016. We have a 23 female OP and a 23 male boyfriend. My boyfriend, Jay, left for a trip up the coast to help family on Friday morning. While I was at work Friday, I got a phone call from one of my ex-flatmates, Bob, who I lived with at uni. He thought he had my dog with him and phoned me because someone had dropped him off to the vet surgery he worked at to be put to sleep. Bob sent me pictures and it was my Stixie. I recognized him anywhere. I grew up with him and he was so close to me when I left home to study. There were no questions about it. Stixie stayed with me. Bob kept Stixy with him, and I drove to pick him up as soon as I was out of work. Bob also showed me a phone recording he took of the vet's security camera screen, and there's no doubt in the world it's Jay dropping him off. He's even wearing the same clothes he left in this morning before I went to work. Jay has texted me a few times today, and I don't know why, but I'm not confronting him about this. I'm actually scared I will utterly lose it at him. I'm running everything through my head on why he'd do this. We talked sometimes about moving north to be near his family or overseas within a few years. I can't believe I'm trying to find reasons for him to do what he did or reasons for me to not rip him a new one and dump everything he owns out on the front lawn and set fire to it tonight. I like that one. Let's do that one, chat. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Set everything he owns on fire. Bonus points if you also set him on fire. I'm half numb and half stunned beyond rational thought. Why can't I get functionally angry here? He texted me this morning like he normally does when he's away. I replied like normal though. We're not big text talkers anyways. He asked me a couple times if I was okay. Everything in the text I'm trying to read into what the hell he thinks he's hiding. I mean, he's probably waiting for you to be like, where's my dog? I can't find my dog. Oh, bro, that is diabolical fucking work, dude. Not only is he a heartless bastard for even being able to send a dog to be put down that from the sounds of it doesn't need to be put down, but then on top of that, the deception, the manipulation, the lying to your partner, that's the craziest part to me. And that's what, if I was OP, I would be leaning into that. I would be texting him like, I can't find our dog. Where's our dog? Ah, the dog's gone. Blah. But like really throwing his shit out on the front lawn and setting it on fire so that when he comes home, it's be like, hey, JK, LOL, the dog's here. Fuck you. We're broken up. Please do us a favor and deep throat a Glock. That's what OP should do in my opinion, bro. That is heinous activity. Ain't nobody doing that to my baby boy Beans. Feed him to the dog. I like that, Hedgehog. I like that. Instead of the dog getting put down, he's getting put down. No, for real. Normalize putting down men like this. Bare minimum, castrating them. Block him and report him to the police. I wonder if OP could report him to the police, right? Like he doesn't own the dog. What would that be? Like stealing OP's property? I don't know if there's such thing as like attempted destruction of property. Because like that's what he was trying to do, right? That's fucking wild. How did he expect to play this whole thing off? I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. It could also be considered animal abuse. I did not know that. Damn, shout out Bob though. Bob's the hero of the story. That is so lucky, by the way. That is so ungodly lucky. I wonder how many people that this has actually happened to. Like OP would have never known if Bob hadn't said anything. That's crazy. Relevant comment. Well, that's terrifying. Do you have a place, a friend's maybe, where you and Stixy can stay for a bit while you get this sorted out? And by this, I mean your new living situation, because you really can't continue to live with the guy who just tried to kill your dog behind your back. OP, I do. At least 2 coworkers would be okay with me contacting them. I want people around me when he comes back. I wish I could make sure he knows he's no longer welcome in this home, nor can he come back and needs to go immediately. But I also know by bitter experience with a friend that kicking someone out of the dwelling they live in is a long process. I understand what OP's saying. It probably would be more of a problem to get him to leave out of a place that he lives and might have his name on the lease, but that's what he fucking deserves. So I think this must be a post in some sort of legal advice Reddit thread, because in the title, OP is asking, is what he did likely to be massively illegal? What steps can I take to protect myself before he returns tomorrow? And I also think it's important to note that OP is in Australia. This was posted November 26, 2016, the same day. Okay, so OP explains what happened, what we just read, and then they ask, how illegal is this? I currently live in a flat that I rent, and my boyfriend pays half, but I'm the only one on the lease. Oh, that's big WWs, because then that means that he has no right to be in there if his name's not on the lease. So you could just throw all of his shit out, change the locks on the door, and tell this man to go fuck himself. At least from my understanding, I'm pretty sure that's how it works in America. I'd be surprised if it didn't work like that in Australia. I want him out ASAP, or I want to be out of this situation as soon as possible. What options do I not have? A friend of mine once tried to have a violent ex removed, and it took months. I want to be out of this immediately. Are my only options to move? How do I protect myself from what my boyfriend, ex to me now, though he doesn't know it yet, may do to the place I rent when I return? I presume my landlord couldn't kick him out if I leave right away. He's never shown any weird tendencies before, so maybe I'm overthinking this. My boyfriend doesn't know I know what he did, nor that I have Stixy back. Sorry for the scattergun of questions. I'm scatterbrained at the moment. He only returns in 20 hours or so, and I don't ever want to see so much as a hair on his head again. Okay, so there are a couple of comments from here. I'm just gonna read all of them. One of them says, not legal advice, keep your dog somewhere else. If he has access to him, who knows what else will happen. And then another comment replies to that saying, seconded, can you afford to board him? or have a trusted family member watch him until this douchebag is gone. And I would call that vet to report what he did if your friend hasn't. It might not help you now, but they should be aware. And then another commenter replied to that comment saying, and then ask where the dog is and see how much he's going to lie about it. Here's the thing. I feel like as little confrontation as possible would be the best move here. Like, there's no way that someone who thinks a logical and okay thing to do is take your partner's longtime dog and behind their back go have it put down at the vet. There's no way that that person thinks rationally. There's no way that that person doesn't have a high likelihood of going berserk when they get called out for their shitty actions. I think if OP's name is the only name on the lease, they are legally the only person who has any right of entry into the place. So if OP had their locks changed and told the boyfriend to go fuck himself, there's not much that the boyfriend could do legally to get in that house. I could be wrong, but I think from my understanding, that's how leases work. OP added in the comments of the first post, just got off the phone with my workmate. She's offered to come here overnight and she'll be here soon. We'll figure out what to do in the morning. I really appreciate all your posting. It only took reading a few to take myself out of this stupid stalled state of mind and move into action. It's after midnight here. I'm going to crash hard tonight. Okay, so it doesn't really look like we got any like real legal advice. I mean, maybe there was real legal advice, but I don't know. Nothing added to this best of Reddit updates post. What are y'all saying? For sure needs to be a police report. I actually agree with that as well. Bare minimum, she should definitely report this to the police. What about squatters' rights? Squatters' rights only works as if you're like actually in the place of residence, you know? He's not there. Like, she could just change the locks and tell him to go fuck himself. That's not true. The boyfriend gets mail at the house. He still lives there. It's called squatters' rights. OP would have to evict him. That doesn't make any sense. So what you guys are saying is I could just have my mail sent to a random house, and then if they don't do anything about it, I can claim squatters' rights at that house? Is that what y'all are saying? There's no way that's true, right? That has to be the most crazy shit I've ever heard. Squatters' rights aren't as prominent as you think. Unless he can prove he got mail there for the last 12 months, he wouldn't need an eviction notice. Chat, looks like OP's gonna have to burn all the mail. Squatters' rights only apply if the owner isn't living there. I don't think OP owns this place. OP said their name is on the lease. Maybe I just don't know enough about squatters' rights. If that's how it works, for time to get my mail sent to a rich person, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean, bro? In Australia, squatters' rights only apply for 12 plus years. Shit, chat, are we gonna have to Google this? Here's what I'll have to say. If OP decides, hey, fuck this guy, I'm gonna get the locks changed on this house. Like, fuck him, I live here now, whatever. If he wants to pursue squatters' rights, he's got to take that up with the landlord, right? If he legally does that, like, I don't know. At that point, OP can just vacate the premises and let him have it. But I think for the current short-term situation, like, if this is me, I'm telling this guy to get fucked and changing the locks on him. And then if he wants to pursue it legally, like, there's nothing that he can do, right? I mean, maybe he could break into the house, but that's illegal. Googled it. In most Australia states, it is 12 years or more. Okay, shit. Listen, the dude's name isn't on the lease. Like, unless they've lived there for 12 years, I tell this guy get fucked. Update 1 was posted the next day, November 27th, 2016. It was just a quick edit. A night's sleep with good people around me helped. I phoned a workmate to see if I could go stay there with Stixie, and she came over here for the night instead. We spoke and we have a plan. Thank you for the links to the NSW laws. It looks like I might be in the clear with forcing my ex out. I am the renter. I am the only name on the lease, and we had no written agreement. From my understanding, he is a boarder or lodger and can be removed quickly. I'll have to clarify, of course, but that gives me confidence. I was freaking out because I didn't know where to start last night. My ex will be confronted with more people I know in the house backing me up. Stixie is also in good health. He's 11 and a bit too fat and slower than he used to be, but he's fine. These photos are from early November when we visited a property out of town. He started life as a farm dog, and going back made his day. No way there's a fucking dog photo. Are you kidding me? Oh no, the photo is gone. Are you fucking for real? Are you for real? That's so sad. Chat, this is the most disappointing day of my fucking life. I've never been more disappointed than this moment in my entire life. And I've slept with your mom. Oh, I'm sorry. That was so immature. That was super immature. Editor's note, link no longer works and I was unable to retrieve the pics. This is the saddest part of my entire night, chat. I'm so sad. I'm so disappointed. He's not microchipped. I'm taking a personal leave day Monday and getting him chipped first thing. Okay. Yeah, definitely the move there. Update 2 posted the next day, November 28th, 2016. He came back. He lied. I was upset and looked it. We gave him enough rope to make excuse after changing excuse. First, he was shocked Stixie was gone and would help look for him. Then he was shocked someone took him to a vet to be put down. Then when confronted with proof it was him, he claimed Stixie was hit by a car and he had to end his suffering. When confronted with a live, happy Stixie, He turned it around and it ended with him telling me he should have had me. What? When confronted with a live happy Stixie, he turned it around and it ended with him telling me he should have had me put down. Okay, well, I hope you recorded that so you can show to the police and be like, this man threatened my life, get me a restraining order. Like, what? My coworker, her partner, and I told him he was not welcome in the house anymore and that they were moving in with me and that everyone in the house and the neighbor we both get along well with who saw him return on Friday to take Stixie now knows what kind of person he was. He left of his own accord and took some of his stuff. I'm no closer to knowing for sure why he tried what he did. Sorry for jamming up legal advice with this one. It wasn't much of a legal ending. So you didn't burn his shit? Sad. A shame that people like this get off scot-free. I really hope that bare minimum OP filed a police report or something. Like, this should be on record somewhere that this guy is fucking crazy. I also think that they need on record somewhere that this man literally threatened to put OP down. Like, what? Just insane behavior. Who does that to a dog, man? That makes me sad. I love puppies. Yeah, Kira, she was saying that it was very out of character for him, so I don't know. I mean, this was back in 2016, guys, so I don't know if this account is still active. Oh, they deleted all their posts. They might just be better people than me, but if one of my friends' partners threatened to kill one of my friends, they would get the beatdown of their lifetime in that moment. I would go to jail ASAP Rocky, chat. That's crazy. Could have been deleted due to an ongoing legal battle. I mean, maybe, potentially. I do have to say, I was talking to my friend who's a lawyer. She was telling me, she was like, oh, at least 2 or 3 times a week, part of her job is to go to like the social media of who her clients are up against and look through to see if they posted anything incriminating. And she's like, 9 times out of 10, they have posted something incriminating. So if you guys are ever in a legal battle, make sure your social media is nice and tidied up. Mine wouldn't be. Am I the a-hole for bringing up just how much I actually do for our household to my wife? And there's a new update on this story. Originally posted to r/am I the a-hole on October 21st, 2024. My wife, 41 female, and I, 42 male, have been married for 15 years. I apparently surprised her by being capable of doing household chores and tasks, which I didn't think much of. My mom always asked me to help out with chores when I was a kid, so I didn't think it was beneath me or anything. I do think I inherited her need to clean excessively. Like, it's so bad that I can't eat until a mess is dealt with. My mom is an amazing cook. My aunt was a literal chef at a fancy hotel, and my dad loved having barbecues. It was pretty natural to learn from them and pick up a thing or two. The only thing I didn't pick up was how to make a decent cup of tea or coffee. I'm genuinely awful at it. It got to a point where I was handling most of the household chores and taking care of cooking, which I prefer anyways since she comes home exhausted. I've been asking our children, 11 female and 9 male, to do some minor tasks around the house and hopefully teach them this sort of thing too. She has a group of friends who hang out regularly. This time, it was her turn to host the group at her home. I offered to take our children out for the day and it was all set. Before we left, I had to finish up some things for work. The office space is practically on top of our living room, so I could hear what they were talking about the entire time. One of the friends asked how she always kept our house so spotless, and my wife just bragged about how she was responsible for it all. Then they all started talking about their gripes with their marriages. A common theme was how unhelpful their spouses were. I felt pretty uncomfortable, so I just left the office and went out with the kids. This might be a hot take, but I think that people that take responsibility for things that they had nothing to do with are one of the biggest red flags out there. If you don't have the ability to correct, like, oh, hey, this isn't me, and even be like, I'm actually pretty bad about it, but my husband is great, and give those people the praise that they deserve, like, I think that's an indicator of a bad person to the max. I came back after they had left for the night and acted normal until we got to our bedroom. I asked her what was up with that conversation they had and pointed out that I did the cooking and cleaning in our marriage. She told me not to take it personally and that she just wanted to fit in with the struggles of her friends. Now I just feel unappreciated, especially since I don't clearly remember any genuine gratitude for what I do for her. Since then, she's been pretty short with me. She says I'm weaponizing what I'm doing against her and holding it over her head. Chat, is this our first time experiencing weaponized competence? Like, you've heard of weaponized incompetence, but have you ever thought of weaponized competence? And he's not even really holding it over her head. He just wants acknowledgement for it and not telling her friends that it's all her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually don't understand this philosophy. Like, why wouldn't you want to brag about your partner partner to other people. Sucks to suck. My partner's actually really great. Like, that's such a dick on the table experience. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to tell your friends, oh yeah, my partner's awesome. He takes care of the cooking and cleaning for me so I can come home every day and come home to a nice clean space. I don't expect her to compliment me each time I clean or defend me religiously. Just a little, my husband is pretty helpful actually. He does his share, would be nice. I can't help but feel like her friends think I'm sort of deadbeat who comes home to relax and neglect her. Damn. Like, I've heard of people lying about their partner to their friends to make them look better, but I've never heard of somebody lying to their friends about their partner to make them look worse. I don't even know what to think of that. Like, this might be really mean of me, but it feels like a very low IQ thing to do. At what point do you benefit shitting on your partner to your friends? And to clarify, shitting on them for something that isn't even real. Like, I can't even imagine that. That's crazy. I don't think this is divorce worthy yet, but I do think this is give her a taste of her own medicine worthy. Like, oh, you don't want to give me credit for this? All right, I'ma stop. I'ma show you what it's actually like to have a husband who doesn't cook and clean for you and doesn't pull their weight, because that's what you want, right? That's what you want to tell your friends. If she wants to relate to her friends, let her. Exactly. This is crazy activity. Maybe she's lying so that OP won't be stolen by one of her friends. That's an insane conclusion to jump to. I can't even lie. Like, what do you mean? Can you not just appreciate your partner being great and sympathize with your friends? Exactly, K-Lava. Like, also too, to me, doesn't it empower your friends to be like, hey, my husband is a piece of shit who doesn't help cook and clean. OP's husband does help. Hey, maybe I should have higher expectations of my partner because I know somebody who has a partner who meets those expectations. Don't get me wrong. I do think OP is going a little above and beyond the Call of Duty. Like, if I had to put money on it, I think the wife almost has it so good she isn't appreciative of it. Like, I don't really think I got anywhere in this story that OP was saying my wife always expresses how appreciative she is of it, right? Yeah, like, I don't really see anything in this story of him saying, I do the cooking and cleaning and my wife is excessively appreciative of it. Because you should be, bro. If your partner is like, hey, I'll take over this thing that a lot of people look at as massive chores, you better be grateful as fuck. You better be insanely grateful for your partner doing all that shit. I'm gonna stick with what I said. I think OP should give her a taste of her own medicine. Like, show her what it's like to have a shitty husband who doesn't help around the house. Let's go to the update because this only ends poorly, right? I don't think you make 4 updates if it ends with, and my wife realized the flaws in her ways and we lived happily ever after. That doesn't happen on Reddit. Update 1, October 23rd, 2024, about 2 days after the original post. I tried my best to speak to my wife yesterday. I just can't believe that this is the woman I married. I tried speaking with her, telling her that what she did wasn't that big of a deal, but was still not a nice thing to do. She didn't like me bringing it up again and just told me to suck it up and stop bitching about one mistake. She apologized, but in a tone that just sounded like she was just tired of dealing with this. So she doesn't like you bringing up something in your marriage that's a problem or an issue and that you're upset about. I noticed her getting very heated and on the verge of starting an argument, so I backed off and switched to a different topic. I asked if we could adjust our duties at home to be more fair for both of us, since most of our management fell to me. Y'all, this might be a hot take, but I think OP is being too nice. I think OP needs to be more of a dickhead here. He needs to be like, no, this is a problem and my feelings matter. Fuck you. Like, we're talking about this. And I also think he needs to be like, okay, well, if I do a bad job cooking and cleaning and all your friends think that, then I'm gonna do that. There will no longer be cooking. There will no longer be cleaning. You can handle that all by yourself if I'm such a bad husband. I mean, pretty much 90% of things like cooking/cleaning, including planning for our date nights or vacations for our family, rely on me. I do think it's an issue that she gets to come home and just tell me that she's tired. Then she got up in my face telling me I had no right to lecture her about chore duties when I'm practically at home most of the time. She completely refused to hear me out and basically told me that what we have works best for our situation. She threw it in my face that she was the moneymaker and that balanced everything out in the end. Even this morning, she was pretty annoyed with me coming downstairs in a bad mood. I think OP's wife is dumb. Like, this isn't what OP is complaining about. He doesn't even really want the balance. He wants the respect put on his name. Like, honestly, I'm getting pissed off because the wife is just making this 80 times harder than it needs to be. Bro just was like, hey, I want you to acknowledge to your friends that I actually do shit around the house. I'm not a normal husband. I pick up the slack that a lot of other husbands traditionally or stereotypically don't do. And she's making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. I'm very sure our kids noticed it too, but I drove them to school after they got ready. When I got back, I noticed that my wife left her packed lunch on our kitchen counter. So now I'm sitting here just feeling like the woman I've known for 15 years hates me. I guess I'll have to push this issue properly even if she gets angry. She's been ignoring my texts and attempts to call her. I can't just let her act like this, especially in front of our children. Yeah, dude, she's acting like a fucking child. How old is she again? 41 and you're acting like you're fucking 11? Like what? I mean, that's crazy, bro. Y'all, this might be like a little bit fucked up for me to say, but it feels abusive. Does anybody else feel like that? It feels like manipulative. When he goes, hey, this is how I feel about this thing, she turns it around to like, you're making me mad, you're making me upset, and your feelings don't matter. I don't like this, dude. Like, I almost don't think that giving her a taste of her medicine is going to make her learn from this. I think it's going to make her even more mad and more unhinged. It's crazy to be like, yo, divorce after such a small little thing that's such an easy fix, but she's making the easy fix hard as fuck, which is a red flag in itself. Manipulative, yes. Abusive, and it depends on one's definition. It's hard, Squiddy, because like, where do you cross the line for verbal abuse? But I think the biggest thing for me to be like, this might be abusive is the way that OP's reacting to it. Like, he's reacting to someone who's numb to abuse because they've dealt with it for so long they don't even know that it's abuse. Like, he's not looking at this like, where's the line? I guess I'll have to push this issue properly even if she gets angry. Like, that's not the reaction you should have here. Somebody who's able to see through this and isn't conditioned to like this level of fuckery wouldn't go, this is an issue I have to push properly. It would be my partner is clearly reacting to this wrong and we either need couples counseling or I need to leave them. I don't know. That's why I feel like it's almost like abuse. Like, he's conditioned to this. I feel like we need to be careful throwing around the word abuse because not every bad partner is abusive, and using the term too much waters it down, if that makes sense, which I don't necessarily disagree with that, Squidiot. And then Squidiot also said, she's mean and immature and sucks ass, don't get me wrong, but nothing here overtly screams abusive. Here's what I will say, Squidiot. If the wife was a man, I think we would be saying it's abuse. Me personally, if this is coming from a man, we would observe it as more threatening, which, don't get me wrong, coming from the man hater, like, I do think it is more threatening, but I think with cases of abuse, we should hold women to a similar standard. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to say you're wrong because I don't think you're wrong, and I think you're making some really great points, but I don't know if this situation is the situation to die on that hill. Honestly, I think it's emotional abuse. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, Arlo. I feel like I'm a little on the fence here about calling it abuse, but I'm more leaning towards the side of calling it abuse. Maybe in this isolated incident, it's not necessarily abuse. The way he's reacting makes me think this isn't an isolated incident. Let's keep going because there's a lot of updates to this and I kind of just want to see where it goes. I hope people in the comments of this are telling OP to nut up and like push this on the wife. Update 2, October 24th, 2024. 1 day after the first update, 3 days after the original post. I think I'm just done at this point. I did something I never did before and went into her phone while she slept. We both know each other's passwords, so it really wasn't difficult. Some of the cheating comments got to me, and I felt pretty paranoid about this situation. Damn, so people were being like, oh, maybe she's in a situation where she's cheating? I would have never put that together, honestly, y'all. Instead, I found a group chat with some of her work friends, different from the other friends she had over. It was just nonstop mockery of me and some of the stuff I did for her. She told them how embarrassed she feels to be with me and that I dote on her like a parent and don't feel like her husband. The lunches I pack for her are humiliating because I had sweets and other treats I know she likes. Chat, are men not allowed to care about their wives? Is that a thing? Is that what we're doing now? They're gonna write that one down in the notepad for when I finally bag a baddie. Don't give her princess treatment that every woman on the internet says that they want. Like, what? That's crazy. I can't believe that. Oh no, he treats you so well. Wee woo. Like, what? Some of her coworkers teased her about the snacks I give her, and she admitted to just throwing them out at work. She doesn't have any issue eating them at home, but at work she throws out my baking? She had some choice words to say about me in her chat, some of which I don't have the courage to type out here. One of her meme pictures was of me on my knees scrubbing a bathroom tile edited to have some sort of dress on, like I was some sort of housewife from the 1960s or something. I just closed her phone and left the bedroom. I confronted her. Wait. You gotta keep this evidence. Screenshots, ASAP Rocky, recordings, everything, because I guarantee y'all when he goes for the divorce, this wife is going to slander him to his kids. I guarantee that's where this is going. He's gonna initiate the divorce and then this woman is going to be an asshole. I confronted her about the chat in the morning and the contents of it, which got her panicking. I focused on our kids this morning and left her to her own devices. It's not like she would have appreciated a kid's lunch anyways. Now she's texting me like crazy at the office, but I think I lost all respect for her and what she has become. Not only does she find me overbearing and embarrassing as a husband, but then I find out she mocks me to her friends and exposes some sensitive relationship issues to her group chat. This will likely be the last update since I don't think she can come back from this. We just celebrated our 15th anniversary last month too. I feel like a loser now after seeing what my wife actually thinks of me. And this is in fact not the last update. We actually have 2 more updates. Damn, bro. Like even this line, y'all, I feel like a loser now after seeing what my wife actually thinks of me. Like, dude, you're not a loser. Your wife is the loser who bagged a bad bitch who would do anything for her and fucking complains about it. That's insane. That's crazy, bro. You're a catch. You're awesome. Any woman would be on their knees begging and pleading for a man who would do all the things that you're doing for her. You just gotta find that one and marry that one. Not this baby back bitch of a woman, bro. Absolute trash. A commenter asked, are you a stay-at-home father? And OP replied, we both work. She makes about $100,000 a year while I make around $70,000. She earns more, but she's definitely not the only income in our household. What makes my job great is that my boss lets me have a lot of flexibility, so I can work from home, take care of the house and kids as long as I give him a heads up. Honestly, bro, I'd take that setup over the extra 30K any day. Good job flexibility is worth an insane amount of money. A part of patriarchy is the conditioning of some women to engage in hypergamy. And even if that's true, there's even more red flags in this than just even like how the wife thinks or the way she talks about her husband. Like, hey dog, you have an issue with your husband, talk to him about it. If you really don't like him making your lunch for you, which absolutely insane, but sure, girl, I guess you're entitled to being attracted to what you're attracted to. Go to him and tell him. Go to him and be like, hey babe, I'm gonna just buy my lunch from now on because I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like a little kid when you make me my lunch. Do I think that's really fucking stupid? Yeah. But go and talk to him. It's such a simple solution. What do you mean? Why are you talking shit about him? Honestly, y'all, it's giving like a nice girl wanting to become a mean girl to fit in with the mean girls. You know what I'm saying? If my girlfriend or wife ever talked about me like this, she would be dropped ASAP Rocky. Just easiest drop of my life. The next update comes November 12th, 2024, about 2 weeks after that last update, 2.5 since the original post. They called it the final update, but then the editor added not the in the parentheses. Oh no, I know I'm going to get some hate for my decision at the end of all this, but I gave my wife one more chance. My brother in Christ. Fucking why? Why? She gave me a real apology for her actions and how she treated me about 2 weeks ago. In her own words, she let her friends' comments at work and her best friends affect her too much. Listen, I know it's not as bad, but it's giving the guy who cheats on his girlfriend, gets caught, starts apologizing and making excuses. Not as bad of an action, but same. Like, no shit, she's gonna give you the apology of her lifetime after she got caught for her actions. No shit is she gonna deflect blame on everybody except herself when she got caught. Oh my God, my dude. Why? My wife wanted to feel included in the groups by playing both sides. One that has a useless husband and one that has a clingy husband. She's not using them as an excuse and did take full responsibility for how poorly she treated me, which is a plus. The bamboozle levels are off the chart because I don't believe a goddamn word that this wife is saying. She suggested some sort of marriage counseling for us and insisted on doing the planning herself to show me she's dead serious on wanting to make this work. She's copied me in her communications with the counselor, but it'll still be a while before our first appointment. She stepped up in the home too, doing more tasks without me asking. The compliments I used to get have also made a return, So I do feel a little more appreciated. It's just so giving. You got caught cheating and now you're on your knees begging. Or similar to like when somebody breaks up with their partner because they're like, I've been asking you to do this thing for years and you're never doing it. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, now I'll do it. For a month, I'll do all the things that I need to do to fix this relationship. And then they just give up after a month. My wife promised me that she wouldn't lie to her friend group anymore and give me the credit I deserve. The work friends I don't know about, their opinions on me will forever be as they are, even though she talked to them. Part of this feels disingenuous since it took us getting into a bad spot for this to happen. Maybe it's just resentment talking. Nah, bro, your resentment is cooking. It is disingenuous as fuck. I firmly believe that. I just hope this works out for our sake and the kids, and no, she's not been cheating or had some guy in her ear telling her these things. A lot of DMs are asking about that. My brother in Christ, you are being bamboozled. That's crazy, man. I don't think there's any excuse for that at all. Yo, how hard is it to just appreciate your partner? Is it really that hard just to be like, hey, yo, you do amazing things for me. Let me brag about you to my friends. Let me show you that I appreciate the extra arm and a leg that you're giving to make my life easier. Like, is it really that hard? I haven't been in a relationship in a while, but to me, it doesn't seem that hard. 15 years and she was talking hella shit for how long? Like, how can you trust them again? That's what I'm thinking, Elster Stairs. I think the fact that she has at least shown willingness to go to a marriage counselor is at least a step in the right direction. But Sanamira, I think it's all disingenuous. Like, I don't think she actually wants marriage counseling. I think she's just like, oh shit, I've been caught. He might divorce me. What's the checklist of things that I can do to save my marriage? I don't think she actually wants to do that checklist. Y'all ready for this final update? I hope he divorces her, high key. The last and new update for this story, December 4th, 2024, titled Update on Progress Thus Far. My wife and I went through our first marriage counseling session. At first, it was extremely awkward having to talk about our problems to someone outside our marriage. A bit silly considering I'm here doing it on Reddit, but in person with zero anonymity is something else. I won't say everything that we discussed, but my wife ended up sharing her thought processes on how things escalated this far. Years of her having me do most of the things in our home had left her complacent. So she took me for granted. I could have fucking told you that, dog. Like, no shit. Our marriage counselor suggested that both of us find some individual therapy, her for her tendency to try and fit in everywhere, mine for trying to take on everything without wanting to ask for any help. We both like our counselor, so we'll be visiting her again for another appointment. That's something we're still working on, but for now, we've been taking things a bit more evenly in regards to everything in our relationship. Chores are split around 70-30, and we're planning a cooking schedule that's fair for both of us. What I'm happy about is her taking the initiative with our dates again. Now it doesn't feel like a one-sided effort. I can't wait for her to be the one leading the romance. She's also set the record straight with her group of friends, so I'm not a useless husband to them. That was also pretty awkward, but no one reacted in a dramatic way. See, I want to know how she's setting the record straight. Like, is she going up to them and just being like, all of a sudden changing the narrative? Like, oh, actually, my husband is really, really helpful? Or is she going up and being like, hey guys, so I'm kind of a douchebag. I was saying this to fit in, and it's not fair to my husband, and I made him really upset, and I'm super sorry about it, but like, my husband's fucking great. I don't know. I need more detail. The only issues are her work friends. She's on the lookout for a better job, not for pay, but just looking for a less unhealthy work environment. I just wanted to thank you for the support and advice I've gotten from all of you. I have a feeling that we can make it through this. Listen, I would never prey on someone's downfall like that, but I kind of don't believe her. Me personally, y'all, I'm waiting for the mask to fall. It doesn't seem like a one-time fucky-wucky to me, because like I truly believe if she hadn't been caught like that, she would have kept participating in the behavior. Like, she got called out for the behavior. It wasn't until she got really caught red-handed and that it jeopardized her marriage that she was willing to change it, which I don't know. That's like not very noble to me, and it doesn't feel authentic. I wouldn't be surprised if we got another update way later on that's like, yeah, so she went back to doing exactly what she normally does, or I caught her talking shit about me again to her friends when she shouldn't have been. That husband is so much better than me. Nah, me too. I just think there's a level of disrespect that you should put up with from your partner, and this crosses that line to me. Base level, your partner should not be wanting to talk shit about you when there's nothing to talk shit about. Sure, if OP was actually lazy as hell and not helping out around the house, all power to her. But the fact that she wants to change the narrative of her relationship to fit in with her friends is a character flaw to me, and a very unattractive one. I did see a couple people in chat, like the Duck Father, saying, I mean, if he feels like it's making progress, we have to hope it works. Here's the thing is, I don't think OP is intuitive enough to actually know if they're making progress authentically authentically. Like, nothing from the story and these updates really made me feel like OP is aware and able to stand up for himself. And I think that's just bleeding into this. Like, I think it is a self-respect thing. You need to have the self-respect to not put up with this shit. Like, even at the beginning, the way that she was reacting was just unacceptable from the start. Maybe this is mean of me to say, but I just don't have confidence in OP that he knows what making progress actually is and how to distinguish making progress with her just doing what needs to be done to save their relationship. It's scummy, but like OP seems to want this to work and shows how stand-up he is. I'm biased due to my background, but I kind of respect him trying to not just give up. But I think that then raises the question, like, what merits giving up? Like, I think we too many times see a lot of people who don't give up on their relationship who should. Like, we can all think of a friend who's dating somebody who is just an absolute piece of garbage and they want that to work. Should we respect them trying to make something work when it's like clearly not supposed to be together? I stayed with my shitty ex so long specifically because I felt like if I left him, I was giving up on him. That in itself, Mbem, I think is a problem. Like, that's the narrative that somebody who is a bad partner will push on their partner to make them feel bad for wanting more out of their relationship. Like, I don't know if this is the case in your relationship, but I know people in similar positions where their partners tell that to them. They're like, well, you're just giving up on me. Even though what you're really doing is demanding more out of the relationship that you need. For you to leave, that means that you're giving up on me. That's not you standing up for what you deserve. That's you giving up on me. Don't get me wrong. I think there are things that you can give up on in a relationship that like make you a bad person. But in this case, I think if he were to leave, I don't think he would be giving up on the wife. I don't know if there's necessarily a right answer here, but I think OP should have at least done a separation with her. Oh, it's the boy. I have a bean. I have a bean. You're so silly. Oh, he purring. It looked like a treat time for you. Ooh, it's the silly handsome man. Bean, say hi to all your fans. They don't actually care about me. They just care about you. This is your channel. I just make the video. He's the star of the show. Oh, thank you. What a sweet boy you are, Mr. Beans. We'll get the baby boy some treats. Oh, yeah. Is it treat time? Is it treat time? Yo, someone commented on one of my videos. They were like, I wish you didn't put in the parts with the cat. Hey, bitch, have you ever heard of the skip button? What an L. How dare you? How could you not love him? He's so perfect and so handsome. He's a cute guy. Oh, should we do big stretch? I don't know if we did big stretch today. I've been doing this with Beans. Ready? I gotta get under your armpit. I'm sorry. Big stretch. What time is it? It's Bean Street time. Couple of treats from K-Lava, chicken sandwich, Gotham Beats, Mbem, Amethyst, Dragon Dynamico, and then all the people that gave out subs, donated. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for supporting me and my handsome man. Look at that. Look at that loot for the boy today. He's like, Dad, give me my goddamn fucking treats, bro. Meow. One more time, Beans. Give him the good meow. Oh, good boy. It's a treat time. Come here. Ooh. Make the man, we have so many more for you. I love how much he hates me like putting this mic in his face. He's like, nah, bro, you tripping. I feel like that was a good one, chat. Oh, you're so sweet. You're so cute. He's sniffing around looking for more. Beans, that's all the treats we have for you. Dude, he's looking at the ghost. Oh. Okay. Bro, you can't tell me my place isn't haunted. The way that Beans acts, bro, there's absolutely 0% chance my place isn't haunted. What are you looking at? Hello, silly guy. You're so silly. Beans, go say hi to the people. Go say hi to the people. Wow, so silly, so handsome. I believe my brother has been replaced. Posted in RBI, which if I'm remembering correctly is Reddit Bureau of Investigation. Originally posted July 4th, 2025. I, male 30, want to preface by saying I'm not mentally ill, and this is not the schizo post you're expecting. I have no better way to articulate what I'm thinking right now. My brother, male 20, just came back from his gap year, traveling Asia in hopes that he'd find himself. We were never really close, so this lack of contact during this year didn't strike me with too much alarm, but my parents have informed me of 3 separate incidences in which they needed to contact consulate authorities to ask about him. He's a mommy's boy, so this did seem very out of character. We hosted a dinner for my brother's return to the country, but upon seeing him at the airport, it was like a stranger tried to draw my brother from memory and pass that as the real thing. He looked completely different. He was severely underweight. He looked 2 to 3 inches shorter. He seemed bedraggled and unkempt. Believe me, this was the opposite of my brother prior to his trip. He has always been a germaphobe, someone who washes his hands twice to make sure he eliminates all the bacteria. But this guy, he smelled horrendous. He didn't even talk to us or properly acknowledge our existence. He begrudgingly gave our mom a hug and our dad a handshake. He did not say hello to me. It's been around 2 weeks, and what I've been hearing from my parents is horrifying. Apparently, he's been extremely active at night and sleeping during the day. They can only get faint murmurs out of him, and his speech is becoming increasingly nonsensical. He doesn't shower. He doesn't seem to eat. He spends all of his time locked away in his room, doing something, in parentheses, my parents don't know what, extremely loud. They've already contacted a doctor, and he's on a waiting list to see a therapist. I suggested getting the police involved, but they were determined not to. My mom is afraid and I don't know what to do. I volunteered to stay over and be the peacekeeper as our parents are getting old and I'm personally worried about that psycho doing something to them. However, my parents have too rejected this. I was never close with my brother, but this isn't him at all. Does anyone know what could have caused this? Or what we can do? It's like someone kidnapped my brother and replaced him with the dude from Castaway. Shit, this might be out of my pay grade, y'all. I don't know. This is like, bro, get off of Reddit and get a doctor to help your brother as soon as possible. Actually, let me read the edit and the relevant comments because I feel like I don't even know where to start with this. So maybe the comments will help me with that. So in the edit, OP says, I've seen a lot of people suggest theories including drug use or underlying mental health issues. I had my mother over today primarily to talk about my brother's condition. My wife was against mentioning the DNA test I ordered, so they are still unaware of my suspicions. Wait, where did this DNA test come from? Okay, maybe that's something that's answered in the relevant comments? My mom told me about the 3 incidents involving the authorities in Vietnam. The first one was a wellness check. After my parents heard nothing from him for about a week, this might have been overzealousness on my mom's part. The second and third instances were actually a part of the same correspondence, but turned out to be much more disturbing than I thought. Local authorities were worried my brother and 2 other female friends had been trafficked in Laos as they failed to return to Vietnam on time. However, this was resolved after half a month. I have no idea the status of his friends, but I suspect they all returned to Vietnam together. Whoa, okay, that's wow. With regards to my brother at present, my parents have since agreed to my suggestions of adding cameras to communal areas as well as installing a doorstop in their own room. They have also given me news that they will go private to seek psychiatric treatment for him starting next week. We'll keep you all updated. Okay, I think that's definitely the right move. Something for sure happened. This is a huge violation of privacy. Like, honestly, y'all, I want them to figure out what he's doing in his room. He spends all of his time locked away in his room doing something extremely loudly. Like, that to me almost seems like a big indicator of whatever he's doing in that room probably directly correlates to giving more information on like what is happening in this guy. I'm not saying this is the right answer, but like I almost want them to put a video camera in there. Like, I know that's super invasive of privacy, but at a certain point, I think for his safety, it almost makes sense, right? I don't know. Probably not the right answer, but like how else are they going to figure out that answer? Let me read the relevant comments here because I think this will at least give some more maybe educated answers from people who are more exposed to this. Relevant comments. First comment. A hard drug addiction is most likely the answer. DNA testing will clear this up real quick. If the result is a match, I'd suggest you seek counseling for both of you. In that case, either he's done a lot of hard drugs and needs help, or you have some tendencies toward delusion. If the DNA is not a match, you've got your hard proof and can probably get the help you need. Okay, I can't tell if this commenter is saying that OP is delusional or if he's talking about delusion with the brother, but I also don't really understand this DNA thing. Like, what do you mean if the DNA is not a match? A match to what? A match to the family? Is there like matches within your DNA that can say whether or not you are on hard drugs? I actually am really confused by this. The kind of resources needed to pull off a scheme you're describing would make it a very odd way to spend one's time. Finding someone similar looking enough to fool not only airport authorities, but also family has got to be difficult and expensive. If your family is not high profile, I'm talking head of state, Fortune 500, C-suite, or otherwise ultra wealthy, it would not make any sense to pull something off like this. Even then, it's such a crazy scheme, I can't imagine anyone actually trying it, and to what end? An inheritance scheme or something? Interesting. Okay, so I guess we didn't lean into the fact that it is a little crazy to think that your family member has been replaced, but I thought it was more of like a metaphor out of anything. I don't think he was actually saying my brother got replaced, help. I think he was like saying like the dude that rolled up is not acting like how my brother acts, but I don't know. Let me see what OP responded to that. OP replied, my family is quite controversial, particularly for Vietnam, which is mainly why my parents were against my brother's gap year to begin with. I can't elaborate further on that regard, unfortunately, but there is definitely reason for something like this to happen. Whoa, this is getting even more sketchy, y'all. So you're saying there is like a benefit to replacing your brother with a doppelganger? That's fucking crazy. Okay, maybe this is on some like weird shit, yo. OP could also have Capgras delusion. What is that? But here's the thing, y'all, is it's not just OP, right? It's the parents too. The parents are also identifying that this person's acting weird, right? Hold on, let's keep going. A second commenter said, I'm definitely on board with this. Please make sure to get help ASAP. Lack of sleep, hygiene, social withdrawal, etc. It has a tendency to spiral quite fast, and you should really push psychological/clinical help ASAP. Not only for his safety, but for your parents. It's not something that will pass by itself or can be cured with love. Please keep in mind that voices/visions usually start out quite friendly. What country did he go to? Regarding the height difference, you could easily shrink 2 inches just from terrible posture. Otherwise, it can indicate osteoporosis. Please stay safe. OP just replied, I'm not quite sure of all the countries, but I think Vietnam and Laos were a part of it. Wait, did he say that he looked shorter? Did I miss that? Oh yeah, he was severely underweight. He looked 2 to 3 inches shorter. He seemed bedraggled and unkempt. Okay, that is actually very suspicious. You don't just magically get 2 to 3 inches shorter. Bro, this is a trip. I feel like I just stumbled upon some government conspiracy or some shit like that. A third commenter said, do you mean that you literally think someone else is pretending to be your brother, or are you speaking more figuratively and you think your brother is just acting different? OP, it was meant to be figuratively, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't genuinely concerned. A fourth commenter said, sorry, but he's in your house doing things in his room loudly and you can't go and check on him? What the fuck? Break down the fucking door. What the fuck are you doing? Do your parents own the house, or does your brother? Remember that instance of that stupid mother who basically left her son to his own devices as he constructed a guillotine in his own room to K-word himself, and the mom never saw the inside of the room because of privacy? Time to get a backbone and step up. He almost certainly is not making decisions behind that door that are good. Do what you need to do, not what's comfortable. Yeah, this is kind of like what I was referring to when I was like, maybe they should put a camera in there. Like, I understand that privacy is important, but at a certain point, safety comes above privacy, at least in my opinion, especially when like, I don't think it's just his safety. I think it's also his parents' safety. OP replied, my parents are in their 80s, and while they're very firmly against my interventions, they seem to give him a free pass. It's a sticky situation all around, plus I'm personally afraid for my parents in the event they stand up for themselves. Same commenter replied to that saying, wait, they had your brother in their 60s? OOP replied, he was a surrogate baby. Whoa, yeah, I didn't even put that together. Yeah, okay, male 20. Holy shit, that's wild. And they had OP when they were 50? Damn, okay, holy fuck. Yo, family member, dude, this is insane. Chat, this story is getting fucking nuts. Honestly, y'all, I don't even know what to say. I don't have theories. I don't have ideas. I'm flabbergasted. Here's what I will say. I'm on the wave of safety above privacy here. Now knowing the parents' ages as well, I wouldn't let them lead the charge. I think OP being concerned is the right move. And if anything, they should be more concerned. I'm still really confused about the DNA thing. So if anybody can clarify that, that would be really great. Okay, Marutman is saying that might be why he looks shorter. He's malnourished with bad posture or calcium deficiency. Okay. Capgras delusion is a psychological condition where a person actually believes their family member has been replaced by an imposter. Okay, but I'm not picking up that he's the only one who thinks this. Like, I think there are a lot of people who are like, hey, bro, your brother does not seem okay. They're talking about DNA because they thought OP meant his brother was literally replaced. Oh, interesting. That makes more sense. It was talking about hard drugs, though. So, like, I don't know. So there's an update July 6, 2025, 2 days later, and the title of it is literally Family Member Missing. Location, France. Hey, y'all, I'll keep this query as brief as possible. My brother has disappeared. My parents only noticed this morning, but it's likely he fled sometime last night as we booked psychiatric treatment for him on Tuesday. He is seriously unwell, and on another thread, people have claimed his condition might have been exacerbated through drug use. We don't want the police involved. We don't want this to be a public affair, as our family can't afford it right now. We live in a semi-rural town near the Swiss border, so we are hoping to find him before he hurts himself. How can we go about finding him? Any help would be appreciated. Commenter 1 said, you do want the police involved, trust me. That's what I was thinking. I was like, at a certain point, the police won't care about the drug use, but they will be an asset in actually finding him. Both of the other comments are just people reinforcing that OP should involve the police. I mean, it's terrible to say, but at least it's not like my parents are missing now or something like that. But still, I feel like there's not really much to say about this one. It's just like shit is going down and we just got to keep revealing the shit going down. Oh man, and this is the last update here, July 10th, 2025, 4 days later. This will be my last post on the site, and I wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone who commented. To those who provided genuine help and support, I couldn't be more thankful. My brother is dead. We found him in the early hours of this morning, and I've spent the rest of the day finding the courage to make this post. Maybe it's a shock, but I'd like to think he died over in Vietnam, and upon his return, his body was simply catching up, rather than prolong his torment. You all do a wonderful service here, so please keep doing what you're doing. All the best. No. Damn, bro. What happened to him in Vietnam? That's insane. I wonder if it was kind of to the tune of what it was saying here about the brother potentially being trafficked. Damn, that's fucking scary, dog. There are a couple comments here. I'm going to read the ones that are relevant, I guess. Commenter said, I'm sorry for your loss. Take some time away from the internet. Take care of yourself and your parents. OP said they are a lot more devastated than I am. I think it's because they view the past 20 years to be a waste. I don't view it this way. My brother lit up every room and every moment I had with him was cherished. However, I do also believe this moment was inevitable since he returned. In a weird way, I'm glad he went out on his own terms rather than endure what could have been years of pain. Wow, okay, what a weird reaction from the parents, though. They view the past 20 years to be a waste. What the fuck? How did he die? They don't tell us. The rest of the comments are just sorry for your loss, kind of some personal anecdotes that I don't think add to the story at all. Damn, editor's note, marking this concluded since OOP has deleted their account. Whoa, dude. Damn, that's terrifying. I know it's like overstepping, but I really do want to know what happened in Vietnam, because it's like, what leads to this? I almost want to know what leads to this in order to like be able to identify stuff in the future. But wow, just wow. I also am very curious, what was he doing in that room that was so loud, you know? The top comment is, I have so many questions. What is up with his family? Why are they controversial in Vietnam? What worldview could lead the parents to view their son's life as a waste of time? Why did they have a surrogate baby in their 60s? What the hell happened to this kid in Vietnam and Laos? Is this family Vietnamese? What is going on here? Yeah, there are a lot of unanswered questions, which like, I don't think we're entitled to knowing the answers of them, but it's just a scary story, man. Like, especially I'm about to go travel to another country in like a month. Definitely not the story you want to be hearing during that. That's so crazy, man. I think he got trafficked and abused. That's what I'm thinking, Mold Sport. Like, I think the drug abuse thing probably was from him getting trafficked, because I know a way that they keep people that they're trafficking more compliant is by giving them drugs. If they're Vietnamese in their 80s and in a country that speaks French, they were involved in some shady government shit in the 60s/70s is my guess. Plus the means to hire a surrogate, they were well off. And then someone clarified using a surrogate is also illegal in France. Whoa. Yeah, this whole story was a little sketchy, but I still feel bad because it ended really poorly. Like, definitely not happy ending. Y'all, I feel like I just like stumbled upon a conspiracy. Like, I got to watch a conspiracy unfold, but never get resolved. And now it's gonna be like an open loop that never gets closed. Terrifying, bro. The refusal to involve police is sus. That's a good point, Mbem. I didn't even think about that. That is also a very sus part. Like, why do they not want to involve the police? Maybe the parents had something to do with it all? That's actually a good theory, Zara. Low-key. Very sketchy, y'all. Very sketchy. My brother does some really creepy stuff, and I'm done with him. We have a brother that's a 27 male and OP who's a 21 female. Original post December 1st, 2016. Really quick, I just wanted to remind you guys I have over 160 reading Reddit videos on my YouTube channel. So if you want more of this once the video is done, feel free to dive into another video with more juicy Reddit stories. As well as if this is your second or third video, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Would greatly appreciate it and would love to see you more on my channel. Hey Reddit, I'm desperate. My brother is really creepy. Like, really fucking creepy to the point where I look at him and I have serial killer thoughts. Then I realize what I'm thinking and I feel guilty. Yesterday, for example, he picked me up at the uni and was supposed to take me to the mall because I needed to buy some things. I realized the route was different and I asked him where he was going. He didn't say anything. I kept asking where we were going because I knew we were far away from the uni and he was driving faster and faster, and I told him to stop, but he wouldn't. Then he casually went back to the mall. I got out of the car and said he didn't need to drive me back. He just went away. Sometimes on holidays, I'll be alone and he'll stand behind me and scare me. I told him multiple times to stop. He didn't. He's been doing it since we were kids. Sometimes I would wake up and see him standing in front of me while I slept. Okay, Edward Cullen, what the fuck? Last Thanksgiving, I was sleeping and woke up to him sitting on the edge of my bed, speaking French? In parentheses, question mark, 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 question mark. Sometimes he'll show up at my college and ask to talk to me. I'll get off class and then he'll just say it was nothing and go away. Sometimes I see his car parked at my boyfriend's house. I don't understand it. I'm done with him. What can I do? I'm curious what OP's parents think about this. Like, have you talked to your parents and been like, hey, you need to fucking get your son under control. He's doing some weird shit. Also, does bro just like not have a job? Like, what is he doing that he can be around a 21-year-old as much as she's kind of explaining him to be around her? Like, bro's 27. I might not be the best person to hear this from because I make YouTube videos, but bro, get a job. What are you doing? Why are you following your 21-year-old sister around town and like creeping her out? Speaking French is so creepy. Call the police immediately. No one should be speaking that disgusting language. Y'all got jokes today. Okay. What the fuck is up with France today? No, for real, bro. What up with you French people? Someone waking me up speaking French seems like the worst sleep paralysis ever. Part of the reason I want to know, like, have you talked about this with your parents is like, if your parents aren't doing anything, I think that's when you create a hard boundary of like, I'm not coming home anymore and I'm not interacting with you guys. Like, this genuinely is unsettling and he's acting really, really, really weird. Until you guys like get him under control or at least crack down on him, I'm not coming home. This is like a danger to OP. There are some relevant comments here and I really want to read these because hopefully maybe OP answers some of the questions that I had. The first relevant comment is, OP, you need to start answering questions so we can help you. Questions like, where are your parents and what do they think of his behavior? Has he been evaluated? Do you ever feel threatened? Sexualized? Does he do this with anyone else? Help us out here. Give us something back. OP responded to that saying, hey, I'm here. I'm sorry for not answering earlier. I ended up sleeping. Anyways, yes, when I was a little girl, I used to tell my parents about my brother going over to my bedroom and scaring me. My parents would talk to him and say it's absolutely not okay to do that, but he wouldn't listen to them. My parents also took him to a therapist when he was a kid to see if there was something going on, but no, nothing. He kept doing it as I grew up, except that he became creepier. Like the things I mentioned in the post. There was one occasion where I was on a trip in another country and he showed up at the same place I was. Instead of being excited by his presence, I was just so tired about it. So I asked him, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm just enjoying France. You're the only one who can appreciate this beauty? I couldn't do anything, so I ended up accepting it. He does have a girlfriend and no, he doesn't act that way with her. He doesn't act this way with anyone. He has a good job. I don't live with my parents, nor does he. I mean, I also feel like OP didn't respond to most of these. Even the first question about the parents, I feel like I didn't really get a definite answer. Like, from the sounds of it, it sounds like your parents were like, hey, stop. And then when he didn't, they were like, but I also don't know because it was just like one instance. It was like one instance when they were kids. There's so much here that's vague. Another commenter replied to that saying, wait a second, this dude shows up randomly while you're in France out of nowhere and just seems to bump into you? That's some next level shit right there, OP. Did you tell your parents about this issue in particular? OP replied, I did. My parents were disappointed that he was still doing that and told me they were going to talk to him. It happened in March too, not so long ago. It's just so unnecessary. Like, why the hyperfixation on the sister? Why show up to France to like intrude on your sister's trip? It's so weird. Like, there's no logical reason for this. He has to be off his rocker, right? I don't think there's an answer here. Before we get into the final update, what do y'all say? Does the girlfriend look like his sister? That's a great question. Maybe he's mad because she ruined the only child dynamic and is behaving like an actual psychopath. Like, cause I was thinking that too, but it's like, if you're jealous of your sibling, like there has to be some sort of unhealthy fixation on OP, right? Because if you're 27 and you're still mad about ruining the only child dynamic, like at that point, you just got to get over it, right? You guys don't even live with your parents anymore. Yeah, you would stay away from her, I would think. That's what I'm thinking, Molly. Update, December 7th, 2016, 6 days later. I talked to my parents and told them I was tired of my brother's behavior and that they should do something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be going home anymore. Cool. Right answer, just like I was saying. They said I was being too extreme and that he would stop eventually. He's 27 and he hasn't stopped, but he'll stop eventually? The fuck are you talking about, bro? But that shit has been going on since we were kids and I knew he wasn't going to stop, so I gave them an ultimatum. They would talk to my brother and my brother would stop, or the three of them could have a nice life. My parents talked to him after all. My brother refused to get evaluated at first. He was really upset. He went over to my dorm and tried to choke me. He screamed at me. Then he tried to choke me. Then he realized what he was doing and started crying and apologizing. Someone called the cops because my brother tried to kill himself afterwards. Anyways, everything is okay now. I mean, not everything. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He didn't get a full written report because it's been a week and it takes time, but that was the feedback and diagnoses. I'm going to be okay. I just want to say thank you for all the advice and stuff. You know, I appreciate it a lot. Okay, y'all, I know like 0% about schizophrenia, but how does that correlate with stalking your sister? Well, I guess maybe it's like someone's telling him to stalk OP. So yeah, maybe, okay, JK. I actually do see the correlation. OP just didn't elaborate on it, but putting it together. But why does he only act weird towards his sister? That's a great question, Stark. I actually don't know. Maybe it's a hyperfixation or a trigger. Maybe. I'm massively confused, honestly. Could be that he feels safer around the sister, so he's not on his guard / running his behavior through social filters. Oh, interesting. So he wants to be around her all the time because his schizophrenia isn't as bad? I don't know if that one actually makes sense. That would actually make sense, him speaking in French. There's probably like a French voice that's telling him to do stuff, or I don't know. Yeah, schizophrenia is wild and terrifying. I met a guy, a creator, who like posts videos about like schizophrenia awareness or whatever, and some of the stuff that he posts like about it or like his experiences with it is scary, bro. Chat, let me look at these final comments here. Somebody said, so how will your relationship be with your brother now? OOP said, I'm not sure. He's getting treatment now after 27 years and it will be tough. Really, really tough. I'll try to be supportive of him, but I have to take care of myself too. And then the top comment said, wow, OP, you're the hero. You're the only one in your family strong enough to put your foot down about the reality of this situation. And as a result, your brother can now get the help he needs. Well done to you. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Honestly, like L parents, if OP has been expressing this to you for a while now, how the fuck have you ignored it for 27 years? That just seems like a failure to parent. I can't imagine, bro. 27 years is insane. Yeah, from what I've seen, paranoia is usually more pervasive, but I don't know if mental illness has to make sense. I work with a population where schizophrenia is very common and it can show up in all sorts of ways, including internal logic that we won't understand. I mean, I can imagine that. Like, people come to logical conclusions that aren't logical, being exposed to environments for a long period of time, like a cult. So like, I can kind of understand if there's a voice constantly in your head telling you certain things. To you, that would seem like logic. I have a friend that had a psychotic break and she got this idea of one of her friends trying to kidnap her for human traffickers. Bro, the brain is scary. Like, as much as it can be your ally, it can also be your biggest enemy, bro.